So, out there in the deep, dark edges of our solar system, we pretty much thought we had it all figured out, right? These quiet, frozen worlds, basically just leftovers from a long, long time ago. But it turns out one of them has been hiding a pretty spectacular secret. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In these frozen depths, where the sun is just another bright star in the sky, are all these worlds really dead? Well, some brand new discoveries are suggesting the answer is a big, resounding no. And honestly, it's forcing us to rethink, well, pretty much everything. Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we've got to introduce our main character, the dwarf planet Makemake, or at least Makemake as we thought we knew it. All right, so Makemake is a dwarf planet. It's what we call a trans-Neptunian object, or TNO, which is just a fancy way of saying it orbits way, way out past Neptune. We're talking incredibly cold, a surface that's just covered in frozen methane. And for ages, the scientific consensus was simple. It's geologically inactive. Basically just a big cosmic ice cube. And when I say way out, I really mean it. To put it in perspective, at the time scientists were looking at it, Makemake was 52.6 AU from the sun. Now, 1 AU is a distance from the Earth to the sun. So yeah, this little world is over 52 times farther from the sun than we are. It's almost hard to wrap your head around just how remote and frigid that is. So for decades, that was the story. That was the accepted science. Makemake was this static, unchanging world, a perfectly preserved little piece of history from the birth of our solar system. Cool to look at, sure, but ultimately dead. But that quiet, settled picture, it's just been completely shattered. And we have the incredible James Webb Space Telescope to thank for it. So is it really all that quiet out there? Well, what JWST found isn't just a small tweak to the story. It's turning everything we thought we knew completely on its head. Check out this quote from the research paper, because it really says it all. It establishes Makemake as only the second trans-Neptunian object after Pluto with confirmed volatile release. Now, volatile release is science speak for it's letting off gas. This is huge. It means Makemake isn't dead. It's active. And this right here is the absolute game changer. The JWST didn't just see the frozen methane on the surface. No, it detected the faint glow of methane as a gas escaping from the surface. Think about it. That's like finding a warm fire still smoldering in a house you thought was abandoned for billions of years. It's wild. So, as you can imagine, this stunning discovery has kicked off a huge scientific debate. It's basically a cosmic whodunit. The billion-dollar question is, where is all this methane gas actually coming from? Right now, there are two main competing theories, two camps of thought. On one side, you've got team internal activity. Their idea is that deep inside Makemake, geological processes are still happening, actively creating new methane. This stuff then vents out to the surface, maybe through things like ice volcanoes. But then, on the other side, you have team primordial origin. They argue the methane isn't new at all. It was baked in from the very beginning, captured from that original gas cloud that formed our entire solar system. Okay, so how on earth do you solve a mystery like this when your crime scene is billions of miles away? Well, you look for clues, and scientists have found a crucial one, hidden right there in the methane itself. You can think of it like a chemical fingerprint. That fingerprint is called the deuterium to hydrogen ratio, or the DH ratio for short. Now, that sounds super technical, but it's simpler than you think. Deuterium is just a heavy version of hydrogen. So by measuring the amount of heavy hydrogen compared to regular hydrogen, scientists can basically trace where a molecule came from and what its history is. It really is a genuine cosmic fingerprint. And here's the actual data, the fingerprint itself. So look, on one extreme, you've got comets, like 67P. They have a really high D/H ratio, which tells us they're very pristine, very unchanged. Then, way on the other end, you have places like Saturn's moon Titan, with a much lower ratio. So where does Makemake fall? Yep, right smack in the middle. And this one intermediate value, this is the clue that's at the very heart of this entire mystery. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. You have two different scientific teams looking at the exact same clue, and they come to completely opposite conclusions. The internal activity camp, they say this middle-of-the-road value is proof. It means the methane was created inside Makemake by mixing different hydrogen sources together. But then the primordial origin camp looks at the same number and says, aha, this is exactly what we'd expect if ancient comet-like methane got a little bit processed in the early solar system before being locked away forever. So yeah, this case is far, far from closed. And the verdict, whichever way it ends up going, has these massive implications. We're not just talking about Makemake. This changes how we view the entire outer solar system, and even the potential for the kind of chemistry that leads to life in these dark, distant places. All right, let's just quickly recap what we've learned, because it's a lot. Number 1, Makemake is not a dead world, it's dynamic. Number 2, the mystery of where its methane comes from is a top-tier cosmic detective story. 3, and this one is huge, this whole thing forces us to rethink the potential for other active worlds in the coldest, most remote corners of our solar system. And finally, it just goes to show how powerful these chemical fingerprints are for unlocking the secrets of the past. Because ultimately, that's the big picture here, right? This isn't just a story about one faraway dwarf planet. It's about the hidden potential for active, evolving worlds at the very frontier of our own cosmic backyard. It really does completely change the map. And that leaves us with one last, really tantalizing question to chew on. If Makemake was hiding this incredible secret right under our noses this whole time, what other frozen worlds out there are just waiting for us to discover their secrets too?